I just bought this brush cutter in auction. It was the cheapest one I could find. I paid $800 for it. And I am very happy about my purchase. Who's writing this stuff? After I purchased this, I did some research and found out that my purchase was a terrible purchase, and that these things are constantly breaking in like 5 minutes and 15 minutes after hooking them up for the very first time. So I assume that my experience will be totally different and everything will be fine. So let's rewind a couple of months, get this thing pulled off the trailer, test it out, and see how long it takes to break it. All right, so the whole reason I did this is one of my side-by-side trails, and you come through here with a side-by-side, which isn't super wide, and you kind of get smacked in the face with these prickers and thorn bushes. So it's nice to be able to widen that up. Look at this. This is the river. It's just so peaceful. It's really a nice fall day. It's kind of chilly, but I love fall. So this is nice and wide. There's not stuff hanging over to catch you in the face. So I was kind of impressed that with this tree, it actually chewed this up pretty good. I was a little nervous because I think that's probably what breaks those things pretty often, is whacking big trees like that. But it did chew it up. I'm gonna come back in a little bit and get this tree out of here. It was a dead, it's actually, the whole tree is actually dead. The whole thing should come down, but that broke off right there in a windstorm, laid across here. Actually, it was sitting up there and hung up in those trees for a while, and it finally fell in a windstorm. So I'm gonna come back in a little bit and get this taken care of so that I can use this trail again. Well, if nothing broke, I think I got more use out of it than like everybody on the internet. One of the things that goes is the Lovejoy coupler in there, and the gearbox shaft, and the blades fly off, and you know, all this good stuff. I mean, it did mow that. You know, I think from the research that I did and running it for 5 minutes, I think the two things that immediately should be fixed on this is there should be a slip clutch between the hydraulic motor and the gearbox, because I think what happens is people run these on like high flow machines, or they run the revs way high, and it's basically, I mean, I know there's a Lovejoy coupler, but that's the second best thing to a direct drive, and you run these blades into a rock or something, or a tree, and it basically stops and something breaks. So I think a slip clutch should be put in there. The other thing is, like, I don't think you should be cutting down trees with this thing. I think it's more for, like, you know, probably light mowing like this, and probably people don't understand that. I am in no way recommending one of these things. I've spent 5 minutes on it. This thing should last a long, long time, and if it lasts any less than that, then it's a piece of junk. But it didn't break in the first 5 minutes of running. So I've already exceeded my expectations of this thing. I'm pretty sure what happened is I bent that blade. That's where the vibration's coming from. First time it broke. One thing you really got to be careful of, especially since this is in a dead tree and then leaned up another dead tree, is that you're really aware that, you know, cutting on this saw and pushing it around could cause those 4 to fall, and who knows where they're gonna go. So, and I might take that thing down right now, because that needs to go. Let's get this one dealt with right now. It's nice that that's open again. I can use this trail. It's been blocked for a while. Man, I really want to take those trees down. Those are tall trees, they're big trees. And I mean, the best thing to do is just let them come down in a storm, but if they don't, they're not at risk of hitting anything, except I do use this for pretty often. It would just be nice to not have them sitting in the way at risk of falling, I guess. Yeah, I'm just noticing this hose is all wet.
And it's just a matter of time before that thing blows out. Let's fix that now before it puts me in a bad spot. I'm looking at this line. This one looks fine. I don't want to go looking for problems. Yeah, see this one? The dry rot crack there. Alright, you kind of see this dry rot. That one's not long for this world either. And up here, this one's coming apart too. So we've got 3 hoses we got to take off. Two of these have O-ring fittings. That's these guys here. This shorter one has swivel JICs on both ends. I think these are swivel JICs on both ends also. Different enough, no problem telling which goes where. I got 3 new hoses. They didn't have any of that mesh stuff that you put over the hoses, like this, which I'm a little disappointed about, but I guess it's fine. There's not really rubbing on anything, so. Let's make sure none of those leak. It's always easier to fix that stuff at the shop as opposed to like out in the field in the middle of doing something. Not that that's hard, but you got to keep an eye out for stuff like that, because when that stuff breaks in the middle of working, it's even more frustrating. I didn't want to go to the store right now, but I don't have to worry about those anymore. So let me give my closing arguments on this thing. For $800, I feel like it's acceptable. I haven't technically broken it. I have looked at the Lovejoy coupler, and I know that that's going to be the thing that fails next. That's the Lovejoy coupler in there. It's showing signs of abuse, but it hasn't come apart yet. My testing is definitely not to show the capabilities or the limits of this machine, more that I guess it did work. I mean, it does what I want it to do, and for the kind of brush that I have around here, like this light brush or heavy grass, it seems to work pretty good. I guess in no way would I recommend buying one of these things, because generally I see these units go for between $1,600 and $2,500, and that is an absurd price for the risk that you might break this thing within a few minutes of using it. I read a bunch of stuff online after I purchased it, and they were literally having like 5 to 20 minutes use out of them. I think Diesel Creek did a video on these, or a few videos on one of these, and he broke it pretty fast too. Again, I think one of the big issues is running these at wide open throttle on high flow machines. It's just when you have that much fluid behind this and you whack something like a rock that doesn't move, I think that's where you're gonna find things come apart. My machine, I think, is running 16 gallons per minute, and I don't run it wide open. I don't see a need for it. If I was in a position where I needed a brush cutter and I was gonna go buy one of the heavy duty units that costs $5,000 to $7,000, I would be much more open to actually testing it, like trying to cut down some pretty big trees with it. But I feel like if you put this into a decent sized tree, it's going to break, and I don't feel the need to prove that this machine won't hold up. I think there's enough information out there that speaks for itself. I'm just happy to give you my experience and take on this, and that if you're going to use it for light duty stuff and you don't want to spend a fortune on this, find an amazing deal at an auction and buy one that way. Or I would say probably don't waste your money, because I think it's just a matter of time before this thing breaks. I wouldn't recommend anybody spend their hard-earned money on something that, in my opinion, it's not if this thing breaks, it's when. All right, enough of the rambling. If you watched this far, I really appreciate it. In short, if you need one of these, don't buy one. Save up and buy the heavy duty ones, or get a bush hog for your tractor.